Hollow Knight. While the knight itself is hollow, the game is fully fleshed out with enemies, bosses, suffering, and many memorable characters. As someone who has little experience with Metroidvanias, I found this game to be quite enjoyable to play. So where do I start? As someone who has little experience with Metroidvania, I found this game to be quite enjoyable to play. From what I got from the story, you are a little bipedal critter that fell from the peaks of Hollownest. You stumble across an abandoned village but realize it's not abandoned at all. The Elder Bug tells you that there used to be bugs in the town, but they just kind of disappeared into the depths of the earth. With nothing else to do, you also go underground to start exploring. Exploring deeper, you learn about the previous inhabitants of Hollownest and its caverns. You face both weak and terrible enemies, each with a small story to tell if you manage to complete its journal entry. Eventually, multiple events trigger that prompts you to follow along so that you can progress through both the gameplay and story, such as being trapped in an area until it's cleared, boss battles, or a brief scene that is there to lure you in the right direction. Without spoiling or taking into account the lore within the game, I thought the lore within Hollow Knight was pretty deep and interesting. World building is insane. The game gives you so many clues to what may have happened a long time ago as you interact with other bugs, visit key places, and expand upon almost anything relevant to Hollownest, especially when accompanied by its stunning art style, which I'll be explaining more about in the design portion. However, one of the biggest gripes I found with the story was how you uncover it, which is from the knight's point of view. You first have a silent protagonist called the Knight, or the Vessel. Throughout your adventures, you meet with amazing NPCs accompanied with breathtaking scenery, yet our boy seems not to care about any of it. No feelings towards these lovable characters, no emotion when you find an important looking place or a secret cavern, nothing. Call it a nitpick or that's lore accurate, but think about it. If your character had an ounce of emotion during an adventure, maybe being slightly annoyed by Zote, looking slightly sadder in certain areas, would its impact be positive or negative for the game? Because I believe that it's 100% positive. So yeah, I just wish a bit more emotion from my critter. Gameplay. If you played the Metroidvania genre before, then Hollow Knight offers a similar experience. Your goal is to navigate a huge underground system, unlock new spells to overcome roadblocks, and defeat mini-bosses and bosses to progress the story. If you like getting lost in video games, then you're gonna love this game. I got lost way too many times in this game, and I spent half of my Hollow Knight streams just trying to look for a way. Traveling across Hollownest is a pain even if you include the stag stations and tram, as many of the places in the game don't have quick access to them. With a map so big, consider me a spoiled person desiring more quick travel areas. Anyway, your character is equipped with a metal toothpick called a nail that is used to hit enemies. The nail never breaks and is your short but reliable weapon throughout the game. Striking enemies with it damages them while taking knockback recoil. This small idea to implement a recoil not only looks like the knight hits hard, but is also useful in and out of combat. Striking from above is the best example of its usefulness as you bounce off the enemy when hitting them, giving you the option to either hit them continuously while bouncing on them, or a method to move out of the way without hitting an enemy's body. Out of combat is used as a skill check to see if you've mastered hopping through spiky areas by hitting it and recoiling you back. Other than striking with a nail, there are many spells in the game that allow for more options for combat. Most spells require some of that white juice called soul that you get from striking enemies. While these kinds of spells have enormous range, it drains quite a lot of it. So getting close and personal to the enemy is still important. Most spells are the keys to opening up entirely new sections of the map, so looking for them is required to complete the game. Also bear in mind that most of them require soul, not all of them. Dashing power-ups or new sword techniques are soul-free, so feel free to try them out in and out of combat. Another way of getting stronger but isn't necessary to the story is collecting crests. Crests can be found all over the place, from Dirtmouth to a sketchy area deep underground. These crests give certain abilities to your character. They can range from a slight movement boost to completely changing your health bar. You are limited to how many crest slots you have, with stronger crests occupying more than weaker ones. So pick wisely on what kind of playstyle you want to play as. I like this feature as it allows you to play the game you want to play. Crest may help you immensely in exploration, but it still all comes down to skill when taking down bosses, as these bosses hit hard and are too tanky to be brute forced, even with good crests. Speaking about the bosses, you'll be encountering a lot of them throughout your journey. While most of them will be a challenge for new players of the genre, they will take only a few tries for people experienced in platforming or the Metroidvania genre, as it's more important for a player to dodge and to know when to attack rather than brute force. Most bosses have attacks that you could dodge easily, so it's up to you and your reflexes to spot the pattern and dodge them, but these are only the main bosses I'm talking about. If you want to fight them again after defeating them, that's an entirely different beast. They are ruthless and will fight you mercilessly. Their hitboxes and speed are unfair. Only the unhinged masters of this game could hope to defeat these upgraded bosses. I have only the deepest respect for those who can beat them. Overall, I love fighting bosses in this game. It's a difficult challenge to overcome, but it is fun if you're willing to pour in hours to fighting them and learning how to adapt to their fighting style. Design. The game is an artistic masterpiece. From character to dungeon designs to tiny details like charms and maps. It is a beautiful game. Just look at these areas. If it doesn't want to look pleasing, it will show you the terrifying side of hollowness and make you feel dread in some areas. Some small things I love that I wanted to share. Look at this 3D looking gate when you cross it. Isn't that awesome? Or when you summon a stag from an under area. I love that. I love it when it just run into you. These small details are things that I adore. It makes the world more lifelike at times. I think using bugs as characters was an amazing choice, as I believe they could be both a thing of beauty and of horror. Altogether, Hollow Knight's design, gameplay, and story make up one of the best games to play out there. If you're new to the Metroidvania genre but are courageous enough to fight the difficult battles, then I encourage you to give it a try. If not, then try another game that could help you get used to these platformers. But do not miss out on this game. After that one, I urge you to play Hollow Knight. Try it out and see why it's one of the best indie games in modern times, because I had no regrets playing this. Only suffering. I give this game a 10 out of 10 for teaching me the 51 precepts of Zot, and for better and for worse, I have become him. Why did I write that? Well, that's it! Oh man, I've only finished one of the endings. I've heard there were 5, so in my own time I'll probably try checking those out, or I'll do them by myself in my own time. Meanwhile, I stream on Twitch sometimes. Go check me out if you want to see which games that I'll be reviewing next. And yeah, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, whatever YouTubers do. Thank you for watching. Babushka, everyone.